In 2021, Florida's condo market was booming, but today 40% of condo sales are collapsing. Here's why. It all started with rising insurance costs. After Hurricane Ian, insurers hiked premiums by as much as 50%, and some even pulled out of the state entirely. Then came the new laws requiring structural inspections after the Surfside tragedy, revealing hidden problems in older buildings. Suddenly, buyers got cold feet. Financing dried up as lenders saw the risks. Now, sellers are slashing prices just to get out, and the market's in freefall. What was once a hot investment is now a ticking time bomb, leaving owners and buyers scrambling to figure out what's next. The numbers don't lie, and right now they're telling a pretty grim story. Condo sales have taken a nosedive, like off a cliff. Last year, units were flying off the market, but now, crickets. The graph's a steep downward slope, almost vertical, like someone yanked the rug out from under the whole industry. And it's not just sales. Insurance coverage? Forget about it. Carriers are bailing left and right, leaving buildings high and dry. The line for coverage looks like a free fall, dropping faster than anyone saw coming. It's a double whammy: no buyers, no protection. The kind of thing that makes you wonder if the bottom's even in sight yet. So, here's the deal with these new inspection laws. They're shaking things up in a big way. Basically, the government's cracking down on quality control, and that means every product hitting the shelves has to pass a bunch of new checks before it can even be sold. Sounds good in theory, right? Safer products, happier customers. But the reality's a little messier. For starters, small businesses are feeling the pinch. These inspections aren't cheap, and if you're running a mom-and-pop shop, shelling out for extra testing can eat into your profits fast. Some folks are even talking about shutting down because they just can't keep up. On the flip side, the big players, they're laughing. They've got the cash to cover the costs, and now they've got one less thing to worry about from the little guys. Then there's the supply chain mess. Delays are popping up everywhere because products are getting held up in inspection limbo. Retailers are scrambling to keep shelves stocked. And customers? Well, they're not exactly thrilled about empty aisles or higher prices. But here's the kicker. Some say this is just the beginning. If the inspections get even stricter, we could see a whole new market emerge. One where only the most compliant and deep-pocketed companies survive. Love it or hate it, these laws are changing the game, and everyone's got to adapt or get left behind. I sat down with a few folks from the Maple Ridge condos, and let me tell you, they're not happy. First up was Linda, a retiree who's lived there for 12 years. She leaned in and said, "Every month it's something new. First the roof needed fixing, then the elevators broke down, and now they're talking about repaving the parking lot. My fees have gone up 3 times in the last year alone." She shook her head. "I budgeted for this place, but now I'm dipping into savings just to keep up." Then there was Mark, a young guy who bought his unit just 2 years ago. He laughed, but it wasn't funny. "I thought I was getting a deal, but the fees? They're killing me. Last winter, a pipe burst and my ceiling caved in. Took them 6 weeks to fix it, and guess what? My fees still went up." He rubbed his temples like just thinking about it gave him a headache. And don't even get me started on the board meetings. Susan, who's been on the board for 5 years, sighed. "We're trying, but every time we fix one thing, 2 more break. People are angry, and I don't blame them. We're all in this together, but it feels like we're sinking." She looked tired, like she'd been carrying this weight for too long. It's a tough spot. No one wants to live in a crumbling building, but no one can keep paying more forever. Something's got to give. You know, it's not just the tenants feeling the pinch. Owners are drowning too. Mortgage payments keep climbing, property taxes are through the roof, and if you've got a vacancy, forget about it. Every month without a tenant is another month digging deeper into savings if you've even got any left. Some folks are hanging on by a thread, maxing out credit cards just to keep the lights on and the bank off their backs. And then there's the foreclosure notices. They start showing up like bad news you can't outrun. One missed payment turns into 2, then 3, and suddenly you're staring down the barrel of losing everything. It's a quiet kind of panic, the kind that keeps you up at night, wondering if the next knock on the door is the bank coming to take it all away. The old fisherman wiped the sweat from his brow, squinting at the horizon where dark clouds were gathering faster than he'd ever seen. "Used to be we'd get a storm maybe once a season," he muttered, tightening the ropes on his boat. "Now, Feels like every other week the sky's ready to split open. His grandson, barely old enough to hold a net, tugged at his sleeve. "Grandpa, why is it always so angry now?" The old man sighed, kneeling to meet the boy's eyes. "The world's changing, kid. The water's warmer, the winds are meaner. It's not just bad luck. It's like the earth's running a fever and we're all caught in the sweat." He glanced back at the churning waves, his voice dropping. "We used to know the sea's moods. Now, it's like she's got a mind of her own and she's not happy with us." The old textile mill on the edge of town used to be the heart of the local economy. Back in the day, it employed half the neighborhood, and the hum of its machines was the soundtrack to life here. But now, it's a blacklisted building, condemned, abandoned, and dragging down property values for blocks around it. No bank will touch it, no developer will risk the cleanup costs, and the city won't even consider a demolition grant. It's a ghost and it's haunting the market. Then there's the downtown office tower that got blacklisted after the asbestos scare. Perfect location, solid bones, but the moment that report hit the public record, it was over. Tenants fled, investors backed out, and now it's just another empty shell collecting dust. The ripple effect? Nearby businesses lost foot traffic, rents dropped, and the whole area got labeled as high risk. One bad building can poison the well for everyone. And don't even get me started on the old hospital. It's been sitting vacant for years, a magnet for vandals and a nightmare for insurance companies. The city keeps talking about revitalization, but until someone's willing to take on the liability, it's just a money pit with a "keep out" sign. The longer it sits, the harder it is to sell anything nearby. Blacklisted buildings don't just hurt themselves, they drag the whole market down with them. So let's talk about what happens if we tweak the rules a bit. Say we adjust the tax code to give small businesses a break. Sounds great, right? But then you've got to think about the ripple effect. Less revenue for the city means maybe fewer teachers in schools or potholes that don't get fixed. Or take healthcare. If we make it easier for folks to get coverage, that's a win. But insurance companies might hike up premiums to cover their costs, and suddenly, the people who were just getting by are squeezed even tighter. It's like pulling on a thread in a sweater. You think you're just adjusting one little thing, but before you know it, the whole thing's unraveling. And that's the tricky part. You can't just look at the immediate win. You've got to ask, who's really going to feel this? Who's going to benefit, and who's going to get left holding the bag? Because every policy change, no matter how small, has a cost, and someone's always paying it. The experts are weighing in, and the consensus is clear. We need a multi-pronged approach to stabilize the market. First up, there's talk about tightening regulations on speculative trading. Economists argue that without stricter oversight, the volatility will keep spiraling. But not everyone's on board. Some say too much regulation could stifle innovation and slow down recovery. Then there's the idea of injecting liquidity through targeted stimulus packages. The Federal Reserve's been hinting at this, suggesting that strategic cash flow into key sectors could restore confidence. Critics, though, warn about inflation risks if the money isn't managed carefully. And let's not forget the role of technology. Blockchain and AI-driven analytics are being touted as tools to predict and prevent market shocks before they happen. Tech leaders insist these innovations could bring transparency and stability, but skeptics question whether we're moving too fast without enough safeguards. At the end of the day, the solution might lie in balance, combining regulation, stimulus, and tech to create a more resilient system. The debate's far from over, but one thing's certain: the market won't fix itself. It's going to take deliberate action and a lot of cooperation. You've heard the stories, you've seen the impact, and now you know what's at stake. But this isn't where it ends. It's where you step in. Stay informed. Keep asking questions, and don't let the conversation fade. The more we know, the more we can do. So dig deeper, share what you've learned, and make sure your voice is part of the change. Because the future isn't just something we wait for, it's something we build together. Stay engaged, stay curious, and let's keep moving forward. So here's the thing, staying informed isn't just about knowing what's going on. It's about being ready for whatever comes next. When you keep up with the news, trends, or even changes in your own field, you're not just a spectator. You're someone who can act, adapt, and make better decisions. Think about it. The world moves fast, and if you're not paying attention, you might miss opportunities or get caught off guard by challenges. But when you're proactive, when you seek out information and use it, you're in control. You're not just reacting to life, you're shaping it. So don't wait for things to happen to you. Stay curious, stay engaged, and most importantly, stay ahead. Because in the end, knowledge isn't just power, it's your best tool for making things happen.